We're here at Go-kart Stockholm with Steve from Sumo Digital. We're here to talk about the sequel to Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing, and I'm gonna let you pronounce the name of the sequel.
So the sequel we're calling it Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed, and transformed is the important word in that barrage of words.
All right, and wherein lies this transformation?
Okay, so the transformation is really important. In this game, you drive not only on land, but you also race on water and race in air. And when I say water, it's not always water either. So you'll race through tracks which transform between these different surfaces, and vehicles which actually transform in real time. So every race can be on 2 or 3 different surfaces. It's pretty busy.
Yeah, cool. We've just been trying a few levels out, and I've been transforming from a car to a plane to a boat. And you mentioned before that these tracks will have to be designed in layers almost because of this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, each one of these tracks is like 3 tracks in one. What we find is that racing on land requires one kind of thing. You need lots of bends and corners, places you can kind of drift around and really kind of find cutting through the apex. When it comes to water, it's very different. You need kind of wide open spaces because the waves are very dynamic. You need things to race around, but not necessarily too tight a turn. When you get into the air, you need a lot of space to fly, but we also need something to keep you concentrated on. So there might be canyons or walls or buildings or something like that, but with all different speeds as well. So every single track is like building 3 different tracks and then cramming them into one tiny space. It's challenging, to say the least.
And on these tracks, of course, we'll have all the Sega mascots. A few of them we've seen before, and a few new ones.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously people expect to see Sonic in there, so Sonic is in there, as well as Amy and Eggman and Knuckles and Tails. But this time we've got some of the characters we really wanted to do last time. So in this game you'll find this Gilius Thunderhead's bike from Golden Axe, and we're kind of excited about that. He races on like a golden statue which transforms magically. And people like Vice from Skies of Arcadia, which is a long time. Again, we've been trying to get Vice into every single game we've done, and we finally pulled it off. So I think people are going to be very excited about that. And that's the ones we can talk about. There's a lot more exciting kind of reveals coming soon.
Okay, cool. Can you give us a number of the characters?
Wow, oh good grief. I can't go into massive details because each platform sometimes is more on some platforms, sometimes less. I think the worst case we're looking at something like 28 or 29 characters.
Okay. Well, that's a lot, yeah, absolutely. All right, and of course the drifting is in focus in this game as well. Have you made any tweaks or changes there?
Yeah. I mean, we've actually changed the whole engine, so it's now running on proper physics. So the drifts are actually a lot more realistic. Well, realistic in the same way like drifting around corners and outrun is realistic. But it's always been a core part of the game. So you'll drift on land and air and on the water as well. And each one lets you build up a boost gauge, which basically makes you go faster and faster. So it's all about chaining those drifts, finding the right spots, getting the boost, and trying to get around the track as quick as possible. It's kind of a core. We looked at outrun as our kind of benchmark and said, outrun plus, and I think we kind of pulled it off this time.
Okay, cool. And there were some frame rate issues with the last game. Will that be fixed now?
Oh, we always get asked about this. So on actually the last game, we actually put an update out not long after the game was released, which actually fixed all the frame rate issues, hopefully. But this time it's definitely a key for improvement. The build we've shown today is obviously pre-alpha, so it's not quite final. We're going to show a build at E3, and I think people look at that, they'll see the frame rates now kind of 30 frames a second locked.
So smooth sailing, smooth flying, smooth driving.
And we've aimed at 30 for 2 reasons. One, we have massive environments, so you can see a long way. And second, the water is very technical. It's very realistic, has kind of proper flow simulations. And you know, that to get it right, we've had to take it down from 60. But I think people will be all right.
Yeah, and about the water, I mean, that actually looked very impressive, and it had some gameplay effect as well, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, when we put water in the game, what we didn't want is just to have kind of very static or flat water. We wanted the ability to drop items in it, so you get big splashes. There's attacks on certain levels which create huge waves. And as you play for the game, obviously the players in front of you can actually distort the water slightly as well. So it gets very busy. You know, water is all about dealing with the fact that the surface is kind of bouncing around. And it's not just water. There's going to be a few surprises there as well.
Okay, cool. I'm excited. So we're about to go go-karting here. I've just played Sonic Racing.
Oh, okay.
Will that help me in any way, you think?
Yeah, just be careful not to try and use any weapons. I think you'll be okay.
Sweet, great. Thanks for your time.
No problem. Thank you. Thank you.